Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nada Nafisa binti Muhammad Jamil with matric number 1813270 and I'm from Kulliyyah Economics and Management Science. I will present my critical analysis on topic inheritance. Suppose I have to present 3 scholars under Islamic perspective and 3 scholars under conventional perspective about inheritance. But before that, I will brief a little bit on summary and background about inheritance. First scholar is Adelina Zulaika and Niputu Desentia. They discuss about the law of Islamic inheritance and its economic implication. In this topic, they tell us about the faraid plays an important role in introducing women into the different activities of economic life. So, men and women can fully increase the nation's wealth and the well-being of society. I give an example. Widow of Aus bin Malik had left by her husband and having 2 daughters and 1 son. The cousin of her husband take all the property from her and she get nothing. So after that, Allah ordered the right of inheritance for women by revelation. This is mentioned in the Al-Quran, Surah An-Nisa 4:7. If they have 2 or more children, their share is 2/3. If only 1, their share is half. For parents, if the deceased left children, a 6th share of the inheritance for each. The mother has 1/3 if there are no children, and the only heirs are the parents. After completing the shrouding and burial, payments of debt, and testamentary freedom, the allocation of share shall be 1/3. In Islam, gender bias does not occur. In the sight of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the equality of women and men was clearly specified in terms of duties and the law. The prohibition of robbery, stealing, and cheating are some Islamic laws that uphold the right of the possessor to his property. Second scholar is Andi Asda Yusuf. He talks about the dispute over the allocation of inheritance to the descendant of various religions under Islamic rule. There is no inheritance is provided to the girls among the Hindus, and this happened same as the Western culture some time ago in England. In pada Muslim culture, men do not obtain it. However, inheritance is split equally in Javanese society. Muslim whose family or parents are still non-Muslim or reside in a non-Muslim state is legally entitled to their parents' inheritance. When they died, the prohibition of inheritance of different religions was clearly specified. The right of inheritance is automatically forbidden from being received from their Muslim parents by children who have different religious beliefs. The Quran is the main reference to the inheritance, distribution, determination, the hadith of the Prophet, and the agreement of the scholars. When a Muslim dies, before the division of inheritance take place, even though he or she convert to Islam, his or her son of various faith are barred from inheritance. The inheritance laws of the territory does not apply to non-Muslim. Third scholar is Professor Muhammad Zubair, Professor Sadiq Khattab, Mr. Hidayat Ar-Rahman, and Professor Muhammad Akil Khan. They talks about the laws of inheritance in Islam. The inheritance concept of Sir Abdul Rahim is that it is the transfer to the heir of the right and obligations of the deceased. In Quran and Hadith, the concept of inheritance cater to a broad variety of beneficiaries and explain how to distribute the estate among the heirs after a person died under different scenarios. It may be very difficult to quantify their specific shares, which depends on their arrangement of the respective heirs surviving the deceased individual. And now, I will talk about the inheritance scholar under conventional perspective. First is Jackie Mesler. He tells about the adult adoptees' inconsistent inheritance right and a proposal for uniformity. The purpose of adoption is to make the individual a greening family member. States do not regard adult adoptees uniformly as legitimate family members. For adopting another adult, there are a few common reasons. First, an adult with whom they have developed a parent-child relationship may choose to adopt a step-parent or foster parent. Second, the aim of the adoption may be to achieve some form of advantage for the adoptee, such as bringing the adoptee to a class gift or guaranteeing an intestate share to adoptee. Professor Mary Patricia wrote an article describing how the law and social system have not kept up with the way people live as families today, and she suggests that we should define family through an analysis of the closeness of the relationship instead of defining families by marriage. Second scholar is Caroline Gilbert Lafayette. She talks about the ethics of inheritance, the new debate against the reform of the right to inherit and the restriction of the right to inherit. This leads to the older plans for the reform of the inheritance system. The theory of Rignano stipulates that the greater the number of transfer to which a piece of property is subject, the less the owner's ability to dispose of it at will. One of the key objections to inheritance tax reform is that a valid expression of preference for one's own relatives is forbidden by the institutional settlement of a distinction between personal and impersonal spheres. Third scholar is Samuel Bowles and Herbert Gintis. They talks about the inheritance of inequality thought. Rich and poor people also prefer to reject redistribution measures because they believe that progress and development in life depends on hard work and a willingness to take risks. No one doubts that well-off parents' children typically receive more and better education and benefit from a heritage. Most economic models treat one's income as the sum of the returns, but any individual traits that influence income and parent with high offspring will lead to economic success from generation to generation. In conclusion, both Islamic and conventional view have more some understanding about inheritance. However, conditions have now changed with the advancement of time and social progress. It has been realized in some parts of the world that even the legal system of certain Islamic sections may be rigid with respect to certain social conditions, comprehensive law quite flexible.